Turbo Conquering Mega Eagle. Alright then folks, how you doing? Alright? Yeah. So I want to build a motorbike for the kids. Could have just gone out and bought a mini moto. You know, I've had a few in the past. Lots and lots of fun, but you know, let's face it, they're a bit rubbish. Really easy to break. So the idea here is to take this conversion kit. This is meant to go on a bicycle, yeah. So you put this on a full-size bicycle. This engine fits in the frame. You've got a fuel tank that sits on the crossbar, and this sprocket sits on the left-hand side of the rear wheel, and it bolts on. Really unpleasant kit. The way they attach these sprockets is rough as a badger's neck. Yeah, quality is shocking. Like, look at the gullet on those sprocket teeth, innit? Like, they're flat. Like, and there's burrs all over it. It's horrible. So I'm going to clean this up. This will end up getting painted anyway. But yeah, so I do have some wheelbarrow wheels as well. These uses the wheels. I've got a fuel tank up there. I've just got a pipe bender as well. So I wanted a project to use that on. Yeah, let's get cracking, folks. So I just mocked it up with an old pallet. I know obviously this isn't a mock-up of all the tube work. It's just where I want the components to be, and about the right sort of rake on that fork. Yeah. I'm just gonna make some bushings for the wheels so that they can take an 8mm axle, and then do the forks, and then work back from the front to the rear of the bike with the tube work.
national ethnic group, a majority at least, and the state that they have constructed and operate and
an Obama guy talking to a conservative outlet saying they're going too far left. But I do have another story, because this story is particularly short, but it exemplifies kind of what I've been talking about. Take a look at this next story. Death by donors, the untold story of Think Progress's demise.
Yeah.
Media observers commonly point to plummeting ad revenue to the more important story here. Well, I'm sorry, that's the more important story, but it leads into stories like this. Think Progress at one point had $1 million.
Just mounting the fuel tank now. I've got I'm not actually mounting it properly, I'm just mounting the brackets that it will bolt to. You see I put the steering stops on there so the handlebars don't smash into the tank. What I'm doing with the tank is these are the brackets that that you're supposed to use with a kit to mount the engine to the frame of the bicycle. I don't need them, so I'm using them to mount the fuel tank to the frame, and then when I come up for final fitment I'll cut a bit of hose pipe and put the hose pipe on these long studs between the tank and the bracket, and then they'll be nicely isolated and there won't be metal on metal that will chafe through and potentially lead to a fuel leak. Yeah, so got a bit of clearance. Oh, I'm going to have it round about there. That looks nice anyway, doesn't it? We just mark that. This is the motor mount that comes in the kit. This is supposed to clamp onto your frame of your bike, and I use the clamps from this as brackets for my fuel tank. Yeah, I'm going to cut it apart. I was just looking at it and I thought, you know, it's always fun looking at these little mishaps that that occur and don't get spotted by quality control. You know, so. It's completely adjustable. You can adjust the motor laterally, engine laterally, and along the longitude like that with these slotters here. You notice that bolt's poking up. They're all tight, including the one that's poking out. But if you look on the bottom, you know, I don't know whether the hole came in at the wrong place. But they've drilled it and tapped it and then just stopped. That because the hole's kind of half blind, it's going into that lump of iron there. Same on both sides, funny enough. You know, here, there. Crazy. It doesn't matter to me. The other thing that caught my eye was the fact that they use cast iron. Why would you? I mean, why would you want these to be cast iron? Right, sure they got to take a bit of a load, but you know, when you got a bicycle converted to a motorbike, the last thing you want on it is cast iron. I would have thought this whole assembly weighs, you know, there's a couple of kilos there at least. I would have said, really doesn't have to be cast iron. A nice bit of alley would have been okay, wouldn't it? Hey. So one of the little tricks I've developed for tube frame, yeah. I'll let you into it. Huh? It is bloody tricky if you ever tried, even if you use it, you know, aerosol or a gun, like because there's so many different angles to catch with the gun, that you end up either leaving areas that aren't particularly well covered, or you know, you end up with runs and that. So what I like to do is basically a few super heavy dust coats. So like with very little thinner in the paint at all, you're not going to see that, but can you see that? The consistency of that, you know, that's straight out of the tin. This isn't 2-pack, it's single pack, but you know, same. You still get 2-pack to thicken up in it, right? If you just don't put any thinner in it, and lay that on, and it really don't worry about the surface finish. And then like right now, I'm just I just got my last bit of paint. I've got everything covered. I've got no primer showing through or anything like that on any of the sharp edges and that, because that's the really, you know, especially when you got tube and sheet steel going into it, like you know, end up 9 times out of 10 with the edges of the sheet showing or whatever. And now that I've got a few really heavy dust coats on of unthinned paint and it's all knobbly bobbly, I tipped a load of thinners in with the remainder of the paint in the gun, give it a little shake, so that I've now got a really runny coat, and I'm putting that onto tacky paint, and it never makes a perfect finish. It's not like the pros, but you know, I'm not a painter, but you know, it's the way I found of getting paint on tube frame the nicest, isn't it? Like just now doing a really wet coat over the top of them heavy dust coats, and it'll make it nice, or relatively nice, or as nice as I'm going to get it anyway. Yeah. Not a bad finish, yeah? I have done quite a lot of tube painting, like I say. Just engine frames and bits of landing gear and that on aeroplanes, you know. And I've only got a really cheap shitty gun in a dusty shed, but that's all you need. Yeah, tub of thinners, some paint, and a basic gun. I like these gravity ones. It's not even H3LP, it's just a as long as you've got an adjustable fan, yeah, you need to be able to give yourself a pinpoint. Don't try painting tube with a fan, because you'll just make a mess. Anyway, I'll get back to it. I'm just going to throw this back together now, and we'll go and ride it. Okay, I've got it all back together, and I've just been riding it around for a little bit just to make sure it's all right for the kids. The boy has had a little go on it. See, when I was putting this engine on, I really didn't take this engine seriously. You know, I thought it's going to be no more powerful than a hairdryer. Like that big M8 bolt going through that slide. So this top plate is slotted. Can we see? Yeah, you can about see that. Slotted laterally and welded to these side plates, which are obviously slotted longitudinally, so I can adjust the engine laterally with these bolts, and longitudinally with that single big bolt. So first off, I used these little machine screws, which is wound straight out, you know, and I thought that was just vibration. So I got bolts with bigger washers and shake-proof washers in between the two there, and there's 4 of them M6 bolts. That seems to be holding it alright from side to side, but it doesn't matter how tight I do this bolt up. This little engine, it's got so much torque, you know. I thought it was going to be like I don't know, like an ant's fart, but brub, brub, brub. It's just like, it rips. It doesn't rip. It never opens up. I think I'm expecting it to, you know, start screaming up to 10,000 RPM. It doesn't, but you know, and that the couple of thousand RPM that it does run at, yeah, it's really torquey, and I'm just gonna have to figure out some way of staying the engine to stop the engine sliding back. You know, a bolt somewhere up the front here that I can tighten to keep the chain tensioned. Otherwise, it will just you know, be forever slacking itself off. Pretty cool though. Pretty impressive little engine. So that's what we're looking at to tension the chain. It's pretty grubby, I'm afraid. I welded on top of you know, an area that was close to paint. I will paintbrush some paint over the top of that, but for now I think we should just take it outside and see if it works, huh?